Local chamber president weighing in on the national discussion of increasing minimum wage. Officials of the Grand Bahama Power Company alerting consumers about scammers. And the Grand Bahama Red Cross Center preparing for a big event this weekend. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shoshina Roll-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topic news this evening: residents throughout the country are calling for an increase in minimum wage. While there are some discussions taking place on the national level, the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce says a serious consideration must be given to this issue. That there are currently ongoing talks with the National Tripartite Council about increasing the minimum wage. Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest told reporters in the nation's capital that the government has not given any detailed consideration at this point on the matter. Chamber President Greg LaRota says, considering the cost of living and Grand Bahama's sluggish economy, he agrees that now may not be the time for a significant increase, especially for small businesses who are already struggling.
You could make an argument that now is not the right time. We need to do some more work with fixing the economy before businesses that are already struggling can probably afford to absorb an increase in minimum wage. So I think it's something that we really have to have a lot of discussion on. In terms of especially small business, where probably a lot of the folks would be impacted by an increase in minimum wage may be employed now. A lot of those are struggling to keep their doors open as it is now. Usually in a business, one of your larger expense is payroll, and to increase it for those businesses now may just add to their struggles to keep the doors open as it is.
The minimum wage was increased from $150 per week to $210 a week in mid-2015. And according to reports, that was the first increase in the minimum wage since 2002. With the implementation of value-added tax and the high cost of living, LaRota says the fact is, it is difficult for employees making minimum wage to support their families on a weekly salary of $210.
We know that value-added tax recently increased, and minimum wage didn't. So, yeah, there's an argument that is costing more now to just survive when it comes to acquiring just the basic necessity of life. So we cannot turn a blind eye to it. We have to discuss it, and I think we have to look carefully at both sides and see what we can come up with. I think now is as good a time as any to start those discussions and see where they take us.
With these discussions ongoing, he says there may be room to make some incremental changes.
I believe we may be able to come to some happy median where there could be some movement in terms of increase. But now may not be the right time to look at any significant increase because it could have a negative impact to the business community.
Well, it's a small sign that Grand Bahama's economy is beginning to turn around. One of Grand Bahama's oldest restaurants, the Stone Crab, located on Tino Beach, was purchased in 2014 and reopened earlier this year. Well, a grand opening of the fully renovated structure took place a short time ago, and our Italia Hall is standing by live with all of the details. Tally?
Well, Shashina, we are here at the Stone Crab Restaurant for the official grand opening, and the restaurant is located directly next to Taino Beach and has been open for a few months now. Now, during the grand opening ceremony, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest, had an opportunity to speak with the guests, and you focus on this being an economic injection in the Grand Bahama community, and I'm here with the DPM. Talk about what this means for Grand Bahama.
Well, I first want to congratulate Olivia and her family for reopening this iconic structure here on Taino Beach. You know, there is a resurging happening in Grand Bahama. It's slow, it's steady, and I believe that we are beginning to see that turn that we've all been waiting for. And with the investment projects, large investment projects to come along, it is going to fit very nicely in what we're trying to accomplish overall, which is to create jobs, but also to create wealth and entrepreneurship. So we're very excited about this reopening. We look forward to what it's going to mean in terms of creating a brand for Grand Bahama and for this particular strip, which we hope, as we would have heard the president of the Port Authority say, is going to be redeveloped as an entertainment hub. Those of us who have been around long enough will know when Taino Beach was really popping. And I think between the Pirates Cove, between this property, the Smiths Point work that we've been doing, and the redevelopment and improvement of the entire area, we're going to have a really nice location for which we can be very proud of, and that is going to spur the kind of creativity and interest from other residents.
And this brand is no stranger to the Grand Bahama community.
That's correct. I mean, again, Stone Crab is a wonderful brand, and it is so exciting to see it come back the way it has.
And I also have with me the owner of the restaurant, Olivia Page. And Olivia, talk about why you decided to take on this.
It's the most beautiful place in the world, and I think for now people really just need to see. We need to expose this, and there can be no better exposure than food, drinks on the beach. That's just it.
And you've been open since the beginning of this year. How have things been going?
Things been going really well. We need our hotels back open. We need more people to come here, but the locals been the best support from all over the islands, and I can't be more happier.
How do you feel tonight? This is the grand opening.
I'm super nervous. I'm super excited and happy for everything. I'm so happy that Turnquest came here, and it's just a wonderful evening for me.
Thank you so much. Now the festivities are expected to continue until 8 p.m. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Awesome food, awesome atmosphere. Well, switching gears now, more than 30 international pilots arrived on Grand Bahama today for a series of discussions hosted by the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation. It's all in an effort to attract more of the fixed-based operators to the island over the next year. The FBOs will also have the opportunity to experience all that Grand Bahama has to offer. Jamila Mizik has this report.
A group of fixed-base operators visiting Grand Bahama for the weekend in hopes of attracting more flight activity to the island. The Ministry of Tourism and Aviation hosting a familiarization seminar for the private pilots at the Pelican Bay Resort. Flying Ambassador Mike Sejunis and Senior Director of Vertical Markets Greg Roll say the aim is to showcase the Grand Bahama product, formulate a strategy to get more private pilots to fly to the island, and also to address any issues they may have.
A lot of American tourists like the Bahamian experience coming over here. It's a beautiful place, beautiful people, but they think they have to go down in the out islands to get it. What we're going to try to showcase here is you can fly 50 miles across the water from Palm Beach, have a Bahamian day, a weekend, and go back home.
You know, like they always say, you spend, 10% of the problem and 90% on the solution. So that's why we brought a lot of these individuals down to sit down and formulate strategies. How do we get more private pilots to fly to Grand Bahama Island? That maybe we'll work with customs, immigration, civil aviation, the FBOs, everyone. The product itself, how do we turn it around to get people, instead of flying over Grand Bahama to go to Abaco, no, stop in the Grand Bahama, then go to Abaco.
Tourism manager of niche markets Nuvolari Chodosing says last year there were only 6,500 pilots who flew into Grand Bahama, but they're trying to double that number over the next year.
I think it'd be very effective. In fact, I just returned from the air show in Oshkosh, the largest one in the world, and there was such an enormous amount of interest in flying to the Bahamas and Grand Bahama Island. So there's no doubt in my mind that we have a very good opportunity to take advantage of that.
Narol says there are many pilots who want to visit Grand Bahama, but he admits there are some challenges.
A lot of pilots, they come to Grand Bahama and then you realize that the custom procedures, normally a private pilot coming, for pleasure, C7A. Then they say, okay, now you do the C7. C7, that means, it's a whole different kettle of fish. And then so every time they want to go to another island, they have to go through all the procedure, But we need to fix that. And I'm so happy to see that we have Bahamas Customs, we have Bahamas Immigration, and also all the regular bodies that govern aviation in the Bahamas are there. So we can sit down as a team and get it fixed.
He says moving forward, they'll discuss the Grand Bahama product and how to intertwine that with the marketing strategy to attract more private pilots. Meantime, members of the international media are also on the island for the weekend in hopes of getting the message out. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the island's sole electricity provider taking steps to ensure that consumers are protected against potential scam artists. The company recently releasing a statement on its social media sites as part of an awareness campaign. Well, tonight, Megan Shepard talks with a GBPC executive about this new development.
Officials of the Grand Bahama Power Company sounding the alarm against potential phone call scam artists. Director of Information Technology, Shirago Cox, says that GBPC wants customers to be aware that phone call scams are a real issue around the world, and they want their customers to be vigilant.
I want to remind our customers that phone scams is common and is a growing trend worldwide. We want to remind customers that Grand Bahama Power Company will not call you requesting immediate payment for new meters.
He notes that the power company has various authorized methods of payment and says payment via telephone is not one of them.
We want to remind our customers that Grand Bahama Power Company will not call you seeking immediate payment for any services and threatening disconnection. If you feel that you are a target of scammers, please call our customer call center at 352-8411. Also be reminded, if you receive a call, please do not give out personal financial information or information about yourself.
Cox says the alert is not meant to cause a panic, adding that GBPC is working to stay ahead of any potential scam threats.
We cannot speak to that we have that problem. We just want to be ahead of it and to make sure that customers are protected.
Now, if you believe you have fallen victim to the scam and paid a fraudulent caller, you are encouraged to report the fraud to local law enforcement officials. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Police on Grand Bahama investigating a traffic mishap that occurred in the Freeport area just a short time ago. Reports say shortly after 4 o'clock, police were called to the scene of the accident on East Mall Drive near Costride involving a Ford Mustang and a white pickup truck. Both vehicles were reportedly heading north when one of the drivers lost control, resulting in the truck being overturned. Our news team was told that the male occupants of both vehicles escaped with non-life-threatening injuries. And coming up, a local organization preparing for a big event this weekend. Stay with us. There's more news on the other side of the break.